Welcome to JoyTube, where the truth comes alive. In this channel, we explain ancient texts and biblical stories like no other. If you are new here, you are highly appreciated. Please subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on our epic journey. Today, we are looking at the night King David fell and the consequences that followed to sound as warning to the leaders of today. Stay with me. Every great downfall begins with a moment, not a sword drawn, not a battle lost, but a decision, small, hidden, silent, that opens the door to destruction. Today, we go back to the rooftop where the fate of a kingdom shifted, where a king stayed home when kings were meant to go to battle and fight. This is the story of David, Bathsheba, and the chain reaction that still warns leaders of our time. The time kings go to war. It was spring, the time when kings go to war. But King David stayed home. The Bible doesn't waste words. One small sentence, one small decision becomes the seed of a national tragedy. David, the warrior king. David, the giant slayer. David, the man after God's own heart. For the first time, he was out of position. Where a leader stands determines what a leader sees. And what David saw would change everything. The glance that became a doorway. David walks onto his rooftop, a moment of leisure, a moment of idleness. Then, a sight. Bathsheba, bathing, beautiful, unaware she was being observed. The glance becomes curiosity. Curiosity becomes desire. Desire becomes an order. Find out who she is. 2 Samuel 11 verse 3. A messenger returns. She is Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah. That sentence should have been the door that shut the temptation. Instead, David opened it wider. The sin that couldn't stay hidden. 2 Samuel 11 verses 4 to 5. David sends for her. She comes. He sleeps with her. She returns home. Then the message arrives. I am pregnant. Sin never stays small. Sin never stays hidden. Sin always produces something we don't expect. Instead of confessing, David begins the cover-up that turned deadly. David calls Uriah home from battle, not out of concern, but out of strategy. He tries to get Uriah to go home and sleep with his wife to hide the pregnancy. But Uriah refuses. He is more righteous drunk on loyalty than David is sober on power. When David can't manipulate him, he eliminates him. He signs Uriah's death order. He seals it, and he sends it, handed by Uriah himself. Uriah dies. Bathsheba mourns. David thinks the matter is buried. But nothing is hidden from the eyes of God. 2 Samuel 11 verse 27. God responds. Judgment enters the house of David. Nathan arrives with a story. A rich man, a poor man, a stolen lamb. David is furious. That man deserves to die. Nathan points at David. You are the man. 2 Samuel 12 verse 7. And with that, the sword enters David's house. Not because God hated David, but because sin has consequences, even for great leaders. Nathan declares, the sword will never depart from your house. Verse 10. Out of your own household I will raise up trouble against you. Verse 11. And it begins. David's house started falling apart. Amnon and Tamar, 2 Samuel 13. David's firstborn, Amnon, rapes his half-sister Tamar. David is furious, but does nothing. Absalom's revenge, 2 Samuel 13 verses 23 to 29. Tamar's brother Absalom waits, plots, and kills Amnon. Absalom's rebellion, 2 Samuel 15 to 18. Absalom steals the hearts of Israel. He presented himself as a better king than David, and with that he turned the hearts of Israelites against his father David. He sets himself up as king. By the counsel of Ahithophel, his father's counselor, he sleeps with David's concubines publicly, fulfilling Nathan's prophecy. David flees his own palace. Father versus son. King versus prince. A kingdom torn in two. All of it traced back to a moment, on a rooftop, when a king stayed home. The leadership lesson. 1. Leaders fall when they get comfortable. David's danger wasn't Bathsheba. It was complacency. 2. Idleness creates opportunities for temptation. In the time kings go to war, David wasn't where he belonged. 3. A hidden sin grows until it becomes a public crisis. Leaders can hide sins from people, never from consequences. 4. Cover-ups destroy more than the original sin. The attempt to conceal the wrong becomes the source of far greater destruction. 5. The failures of leaders wound innocent people. Tamar, Uriah, Bathsheba, Amnon, Absalom, Israel, all suffered because of one moment of moral negligence. 6. God forgives sin, but doesn't erase earthly consequences. The fall of David is not just a story from ancient Israel. It is a mirror held up to every leader, every home, every generation. Power doesn't destroy a leader. Character does, or the lack of it. Temptation begins in private, but its destruction is always public. Before you judge David, ask yourself, what rooftop am I standing on? What small decision today could become the downfall of tomorrow? This story is not meant to shame us, but to warn us, to wake us, to rescue us from our own blind spots. Because the greatest victories are not won on battlefields, but in the secret places, where no one sees but God. If this touched you, please share with someone who needs to watch this. And comment, like and subscribe to JoyTube for more spiritual lessons. Thanks for watching.